This is Bleav, Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network.
Doesn't it? Or did. Joe Cox with an up and out. Wide open. Touchdown. Israel Troop.
Snap to Young. Drops back. Pressure from the edges. He throws near sideline. And it's intercepted. Intercepted. Kelee Ringo at the 21. Off he goes. 40, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Near sideline. Breaks the tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 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 Georgia.
Good evening, neighborhood. How about them Dawgs?
32, 18. Let the celebration begin.
All right, intro's played. All right, welcome in. It is the Super Bowl hangover edition of the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Network. Joining me fresh off of his buffalo chicken dip coma, It's Israel Troop, man. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? We had a little dip, little chips, little tamales going on. We had a little bit of everything yesterday.
Tamales, okay.
Hope everybody enjoyed Super Bowl as much as we did. Even with the grassy situation going on, that's one thing that everybody can agree on, that the turf was not very good. But I will say, if you get the grass from good old South Georgia down here, like Tampa Bay did, then that doesn't happen. Just saying. No, we got a nice little
it
grows really nice grass.
You guys make the best tamales at Super Bowl parties, and you grow the best sod.
That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That is a fact.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about that aforementioned Super Bowl and how the grass sucked, and there's some other things that we didn't particularly enjoy. But we're also going to do a stock check. We're going to continue our in the vein of the NFL. We're going to continue our pre-combine draft stock. We're going to look at Kelee Ringo, and of course, Georgia improves to 14-111 on the season. With a win over Kentucky. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. But first, we're presented by Betonline.ag. It continues to be your number one source for all your betting needs. Whether you lost on a parlay like me with a chance to win $300 and the refs got in the way, or
fact.
Yeah. Or you bet on some college hoops, or you thought the Golden State Warriors were going to win at home over the Lakers. Whatever you bet, you can bet on anything. So NHL as well, NBA, NCAA. I did call the Stanford game, which is phenomenal. But BetOnline brings you all of that. You can always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. I actually did a live bet for the Stanford game. So they do feature live betting. Like I said, free contests and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite leagues and events. So head to betonline.ag to join and receive that 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure you use the promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline is where the game starts. So real quick, I know you and I picked Philly in the over. We definitely hit the over.
Definitely hit the over.
And when they updated the lines in the live betting, we would have still hit the over at 65 if we'd have taken it in a live bet. So yeah, that was a tough beat. But the reason why it was a tough beat is because it was probably one of the best games I've seen in a while, one of the best Super Bowls that I've seen in a while, only to be tainted by I guess by the letter of the law, it was the correct call. But I mean, you're not calling any, like, I don't remember there being a live ball foul.
No, I think the only one that was live was the pass interference that Philly got. The two penalties, that kind of caught Philly, but although they scored on the one pass interference call, was the one where they were blocking downfield.
Yeah. That I didn't know. I didn't know that was a rule.
I just found it out last night. So basically, we've been teaching
Philly did too.
In high school and in college the wrong thing to do, because in college that is a penalty. So they have all these rules about protecting the quarterback, but let's not block the guy running full speed at the receiver until he catches the ball.
Yeah, that seems backwards to me.
And then it showed last night because they threw a swing pass and homeboy got knocked out. So then there's that. But, the controversy for the pass interference call, let's get one thing straight, first of all. He was not the primary read on that play. They got him once already, actually twice already with the same play. So they were just kind of disguising it, making it look like it always did so they can get the ball to Kelce. And if you watch the play, well, Holmes is not even looking at Juju Smith. Like he's not even looking at him. So, and if you also look at that play, the flag isn't even thrown until that ball is incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can say what you want. And although I do think that one play did not cost Philly the game because they had plenty of opportunity to kind of put Kansas City away, but that play did determine a lot in the ball game, which at the end of the day, don't leave it up to the rest because they got the script and they completely went with it, to say the least.
They did
for a little while because they were off script a little bit, but they got back on it with that call.
Yeah, I mean, the script told them to swallow the whistle until the end. So it was written in the third act.
Yes.
If you don't remember, but you can't make that call.
Yeah,
the ref missed it. If you miss it, you miss it. But he's like, oh, he didn't catch the ball. He had to have been held because he couldn't get to that ball. No, he couldn't get to the ball because it was airmailed.
And he wasn't thrown to him.
Tyreek Hill wouldn't have gotten to that ball.
Yeah, it was a broken play. First read wasn't open, so he threw it away, which is smart by Mahomes, and smart by Juju for keeping going with the play, I guess, because
they drew the penalty. Yeah,
he drew the penalty,
and it allowed them to ice the game.
If I'm a ref, I'm not throwing that flag. I'm just not.
Especially if I haven't thrown it. If I haven't thrown it all game, I'm not throwing it there. I haven't thrown it all game. There was plenty of pass interference opportunities. There was probably 3 or 4 that you probably could have thrown and it would have been justified.
Absolutely. For the most part, it was a pretty clean game.
Mm-hmm.
I think for the most part until that play, I thought the refs did a pretty good job, pretty much letting them play.
Yeah.
Even some of the big hits coming through, there weren't any penalties on those. I hate to talk about the refs because, this whole thing, but when you kind of put yourself in a situation, dog, I mean, it is what it is. You're going to get criticized for that one play all the time. I hope you never go to Philly anytime soon because those people.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that's going to be.
They don't forget.
They don't forget. They certainly don't forgive. A rough group up there. So, but that's neither here nor there. Philly had plenty of chances to win the game. I would have liked to see if they could have marched down and tied it or went ahead with the touchdown because that would have resulted. That was third down. That would have resulted in a field goal attempt. I would like to see could Harrison Butker make that field goal from there?
Mm-hmm.
B, if he does, can Jalen Hurts, who was also having a tremendous game, if he could have led his team down to at least get a field goal attempt to tie it and send it in overtime. But we didn't get that chance, and that's okay. But Israel, I want to talk to you about installing those 2 pass routes. And I know it's just a basic concept. Watching it's just a smash route, but the way they get to it, where I guess you call it zip motion, which is that fast motion, almost like they're trying to simulate. Okay, we're going to run jet sweep, or they're trying to make it look like it's going to be either jet sweep or that hide route going back across the other side. Whatever they're trying to make it look like, he slams on the brakes and gets back out to the flat, wide open, and just that is we're going to expose you in man coverage. That's a true man beater right there, and that's a great way to buy yourself a ton of space. So is that already in your book?
Oh yeah, it's already in there. I mean, it's zip motion. We just basically smash concept with the out route, with the corner out. Now on the very first touchdown, I had Kelce and I forget who caught on the outside. He had both of them wide open.
Yeah.
Because big play drag went over the top.
Yeah.
And the other guy was just lost. He had no clue what was going on. But at the same time,
I think it was Bradbury. I think got beat so bad.
Oh yeah. And then what makes it so bad? They've been running, drive routes across. So obviously you think it's coming again. Yeah. Wrong answer. But that's just good. One, great play call and good scouting from up top, because if your guy up top is seeing it, then he knows that what they're gonna check to. I mean, that's the perfect play to use it. The game last night from an offensive standpoint was very, very good. The way they used condensed sets, especially Kansas City running buck sweep out of condensed sets with the tight end, 21 personnel type look. The way they were running their screen game, things like that. It was a very, very, very good offensively called game last night.
And if Bieniemy truly has play calling
yes.
power, I thought he called a great game. I thought he did a good job of putting Juju Smith-Schuster in some really good easy route combinations where they would go condensed sets and they would have him line out wide one-on-one and they'd play off coverage or whatever the case may be, and just hitting him on some slants, some quick hitches and things to just kind of get things going. I thought that was good.
Absolutely.
Obviously all the things that you said were also really good. I thought Philly had a really good offensive game plan too.
Absolutely. They ran stick, stick right the whole time. They ran snag all night pretty much until Kansas City stopped it. And then at that point they ran a little cop route with AJ over the top, one for a touchdown and one they kind of batted down. But, I think both teams had a really good plan going into the game last night. And, they look very, Georgia-like, just considering how the game, when you look at what we did this year and considering how they looked last night, using different formations, condensed sets, motion, things like that, giving a little eye candy, So both teams brought something that neither team had ever seen, So that, I think that's why the game was so high scoring too at the same time, But once each team kind of figured it out, that game kind of got a little chippy for a minute there, and defense started lighting people up. I mean, Garner Johnson coming up and smacking the Kansas City running back twice.
Pacheco, the rookie.
He caught him in the open field, then he caught him in the hole. I mean, they were knocking Devontae Smith around like he weighed like 5 pounds. I mean, they were hitting last night.
Yeah, they were. But the ultimate difference was Philly's defense never really fully adjusted in the second half.
And they never got
Kansas City's, they couldn't get. I mean, he would break contain even on a bad ankle. He broke middle contain. They were going to try to keep him bottled up, and he ended up slicing through right down the heart of the defense. And poor Jordan Davis just couldn't run with him.
Oh no!
I was like, oh god.
It did look like my 2-year-old running last night. Like it was absolutely. He was just.
It's just, and you could tell he was just chugging, but he was not going to catch Mahomes.
Trying to get there, but hey, he broke a good run. I mean, to set up a good first down and set up the phantom penalty there to go ahead and win. But not taking anything from Kansas City. I mean, they could have folded up the tip last night. Being down by double digits, but they didn't. A couple of Georgia boys, played in that game last night. So, I hate it for Philly, but hey, congratulations, Kansas City, man, and let's see what happens this coming year again.
Yeah, let's see if they can repeat. So, great game. Somebody had to lose it, unfortunately. Philly lost it. I lost it on Betonline, and the rest is history. So, if you're listening out there and you want to bet on the Super Bowl next year, just take what I do and throw your life savings on the opposite, and you will be a billionaire. Then share it with me. Okay.
Or you can get the script, man. And once you get the script, I mean, you're pretty much going to win a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you're pretty guaranteed. Yeah, exactly. So as we transition, you can find us anywhere you want on social media, at Bleav in Dawgs, at TroopStar28, at Coach Burton 36. You can find us anywhere you get your podcasts, on YouTube. And as I see the numbers, a lot of you are finding us. So tell a friend to tell a friend. And let's keep this thing growing. So great Super Bowl, great food. Like you said, you had tamales. I did some smoked wings. They turned out phenomenal. I broke it out into 3 different sauces. I did a lemon pepper butter sauce or whatever. I did Carolina Gold. And I did the standard buffalo.
There you go. Got a little sweet heat, a little salt. I like it.
It was phenomenal. It was great, man. We had buffalo chicken dip, and we had also we had grape salad and broccoli salad to kind of give us some fruit and vegetables to have well balanced. And we had some celery and some carrots to dip along with the chips to dip into the buffalo chicken dip. So we had a well-rounded Super Bowl cuisine.
Very nice, very nice. We had a little bit of everything. So, now that football season is officially over, gets kind of sad around this time.
Well, I wouldn't say football season is over. I would say the games are over. It's never over.
So we got spring balls coming with the new leagues coming up.
Yeah, we got USFL coming up. We've got NFL free agency, NFL draft, which we'll get into Kelee Ringo here in just a second. Did you know Trey Scott was Rivals Recruiter of the Year?
I was read. Where did I read that? I read that the other day.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Recruiter of the Year.
That is. But if you think about it, I mean, we pulled some stuff out of our butts, last couple of years, and most of those guys are still there. Uh-huh. So I mean, not just we're getting quality athletes, but we're getting quality character kids too as well. So congratulations to Coach Scott, man. They do a phenomenal job. Coach McGee, is right on his coattails. So that's one thing we do well. I mean, we recruit really well. And like I said, I mean, it's different between just recruiting an athlete and you're recruiting the athlete and a great character kid as well. So, kudos to Georgia for doing your homework, and those guys in the film room. Corey, this better than I do. Mm-hmm. You guys do a phenomenal job of finding those players as well.
We do. We and the guys that are there now, I'm obviously not there now, but those guys are doing a outstanding job finding those guys, keeping up with those guys, keeping in contact, planning, making sure they have a heck of a trip when they come to Athens, making sure the families feel comfortable, making sure that they get the full UGA experience when they step foot on campus. And that's the main goal of the recruiting team. You want to, number one priority is make mama happy, make mama comfortable, and have mama have some fun. Right? If mama's happy, everybody's happy, right? And the rest kind of falls into place. If mama ain't happy,
hey, baby ain't coming.
Good luck. He's going to Alabama or Clemson or somewhere else. He's not coming to Georgia. That's for sure. If that's the case. So, but obviously Trey Scott did a really good job of making mama happy when she came to campus. And so he did that more so than any other recruiter in the country. That's an assistant coach. So there you go. Thanks. Probably second place was Todd Hartley, and third place was Del McGee, and fourth place was Glenn Schumann. Just our entire list of coaches. Absolutely.
There. I mean, recruiting is a big deal nowadays.
And then fourth was Nick Saban, pulling 9 5-stars with no coordinators. How about that recruiting job?
That is very true, but I mean,
it's not an Alabama show.
Hire is a little weary, but that defensive hire, man, that's a pretty good one right there, man.
And then that's a mentor. That's a Will Muschamp type hire where they're going to mentor somebody to take over when Kevin Steele retires. Kevin Steele is no spring chicken.
Speaking of coordinators, ours is still here for now.
Well, he's not going anywhere because Miami, I think, just hired somebody. The only place he was ever going to go, not as a head coach, was Alabama. That's the only place he was ever going to go. Are you talking about Munkin or are you talking about Schumann?
Talking about Munkin.
Oh, yeah, yet. Munkin, yet. Okay, I thought you were talking about Schumann. He was a candidate at the U.
Oh, no, Schumann, I think Schumann.
I don't know why Schumann would leave, but
every time I see Schumann, he comes down, he recruits our area down here, man. First of all, jam up coach. You know how most of the college coaches come out, they're like, whatever, try to big league you. He'll sit there and talk ball with you. I can say that for a lot of the college recruiters that come down here to this area. But Coach Schumann, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. I think he's a Georgia guy as well. And he loves it. He loves being a dog. So glad he stayed. I'm just waiting for the contracts to come back out because he got a raise along with everybody else.
They all got a raise.
And Munkin is still our offensive coordinator right now. So
still, but the Ravens still haven't made an offer. The Bucs still haven't found a guy. So we'll see.
Come on, Josh.
Come on, Josh. Come through with it, Josh. Come through with it. Well, speaking of stock, looking at Kelee Ringo now, looking at our draft stock, we looked at Nolan Smith. We looked at the Senior Bowl guys. Kelee Ringo is an interesting one because you could say that sometimes on film that, oh God, like there was moments where I'm like, oh God, he lost millions of dollars on that play. And then you're like, okay, he just made those millions back on that play. And whether it was just get completely whiffing Barryon Brown at Kentucky or hip pocketing Jalen Hyatt and making the catch for him against Tennessee, like Kelee Ringo had a very up and down senior year, but I think the intangibles he brings, I think the overall combine skills that he brings, the 4.3 40, I think he has a high 30s vertical leap, the intelligence that he brings to the table as far as route recognition and things like that, the physicality he brings at the line of scrimmage. I think pro coaches, they see that and they understand, real coaches understand, a real draft analyst understand that cornerback is really probably one of the most difficult positions to play in the entire sport of football. It's one of the most like, hey, it's either feast or famine. Chicken salad or chicken, the rest. It's like, whew, man, and you're on an island out there, man. It's not like offensive defensive line where, I mean, that truly is the toughest position because you're just hammering away all like 100 something snaps, but at corner you're on an island.
Absolutely. You saw it last night, in the Super Bowl. They've been running this play, and all of a sudden do something different, and he's wide open. And that's because you are on that island. And Kelee, was very much on the island, this year. I wouldn't say he had a bad year. It was just an inconsistent year. Sometimes, he looked like, dang, I mean, he's a first rounder. And next game or two, and you're like, what is going on here? So, I don't think his draft stock particularly went down. I think just the level of inconsistency needs to change. I saw a workout video of him the other day. I mean, the kid, he looks phenomenal. I'm kind of jealous right now. I'm rocking a dad bod right now, so trying to get back in my ways. I was kind of jealous of my boy. So,
I got a little dad bod. It's okay.
But him running, in the 4.3s, I think the combine is really going to tell it. Have a good pro day. I think he's a day one guy, day two guy. So I mean, it really just depends on how he performs at pro day and at the combine. Because I don't think his stock went down too much. I just think the level of inconsistency that he played with this year is just a little bit of a concern. But I mean, if you look at his junior year, the kid balled out.
Yeah,
so
I think he just made it to where his pro day carries a little bit more weight than it would had he not been so inconsistent. And some of that, if you look at it, is like communication errors. Like one play he thought he was going to have help, and he didn't, or like one play, like you're just prone to making mistakes. Like you're just going to get got in the SEC. It's just going to happen. Everybody
who's programmed on one thing,
Yeah.
Even at corner, corners will tell you all the time, hey, I've been studying film and I know if this guy does this, or, Deion tell you all the time, just look at his feet. His feet kind of tell you where you want to go before he even comes off the ball. So if you're a good corner, you see stuff like that. Now you're triggered to boom. Okay, he's going to do this, but do something different.
He took a lot of chances.
It kind of throws it off a lot.
Yeah, and he took a lot of chances and got burned on a few, and it is what it is.
Well, corner had gotten burnt. Even Deion's gotten burnt now. That's, Deion's one of the best to do it. He's gotten burnt too, man.
Probably a little more rare than the rest, but
that meat's a little red, but it's happened.
Yeah, but he's got to. I mean, because guess what? He's a human being. So, to wrap up this conversation, I think Kelee Ringo draft stock is. I think he's late day one. I think there's a contender that needs. I think there's a contender, a playoff team that will need a corner.
Oh,
and Kelee Ringo will be sitting there waiting for them, and they'll jump right to it. Or one of these teams will trade down a couple of times that are looking to trade out of their top 6 spots, and somebody will trade back and draft them because they need corner. Everybody needs corner.
He's burning Eli Apple right now, in my opinion. That's just me.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. He's got to get better in zone coverage, ironically.
You can go and take Eli Apple's spot right now.
Please do. Although selfishly, I want Kelee to play for the Falcons, but
the Falcons don't draft Georgia players.
No, they don't. It's a shame too. They'll draft some kid out of South Dakota before they you could have Kelee Ringo and you could have this safety from Incarnate Word. And they're going to draft the Incarnate Word kid. It's odd. I don't get it.
Happens more times than not.
It does. You're right. You're right. But how about that basketball team, man?
Dude, I know. I watched the whole
like
first half. Watched the whole first half.
Yeah.
And one thing that I saw that I really, really like is, we kind of lack size. You can definitely tell the size difference between us and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
As far as height, I think we were pretty much, body-wise, I think we matched. But height-wise, we were outmatched. But those guys played hard. I mean, we're getting second chance possessions. I mean, we're going up, throwing our bodies around. I think that little skid that we took, I think kind of opened us up a little bit, like, hey, we can actually play. And sometimes that's what it takes. It takes a little whipping every once in a while to open your eyes a little bit and, show you that you can ball. So watching that game, the enthusiasm, it's one thing I can say. Coach White has those guys playing hard. You don't see them just jogging around. You don't see them moping around.
They don't look defeated. Yeah.
Even when they're getting beat, it's still, hey, we're going to play balls to the wall. We're going to try to make something happen. But the fact that they were not scared of Kentucky at all. Although Kentucky is down,
I don't care. Kentucky's a brand.
This year, Kentucky is the standard. In the SEC. So
yeah, I don't care if they're down.
The fact that we didn't back down from them, and we came out, we put pressure on them. We were almost up double digits at one point. I know in the first half before I had to leave. So, for us to pull that thing out at home, in the Steg, that is a huge win, no matter what Kentucky team you bring in there.
Yeah, from what we were, I don't care if you're down, up, sideways, whatever. We're not a team. We're not a program right now that can really be picky about. Oh well, we wanted to beat Kentucky when they were up. No, you want to beat whoever the heck comes to. You want to beat whoever the heck is in front of you. I don't care who it is. You want to start collecting wins because that builds confidence. Now, when you get to Kentucky's level, then you can start worrying about. Oh well, we only beat them because they were down. Yeah. We ain't there yet. So I will take this win, and I will run with it.
Definitely.
We only have 100 and something more wins to get to 500 because we're 14 and 111. The hell of a typo. I love that.
I saw that and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!"
Somebody got a little happy with the ones there, but you hit the nail on the head, dude. These guys play hard. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you play hard, you get lucky bounces. And sometimes when you play hard, shots go in. Sometimes when you play hard, the other team goes, oh, and they cough up the ball.
Yes.
Sometimes when you play hard, the crowd gets into it. Actually, all the time when you play hard, the crowd gets into it. And you start building momentum. And then when you start building momentum, that's when you start building a lead. And then when you start building a lead, sometimes you hold on to that lead and you gain more confidence and more momentum. And then the buzzer ends and you got more points than they do.
That's called a win, ladies and gentlemen. That's
called a win. And then you win 2.
It's called a winning streak.
It's called a winning streak.
Absolutely.
Do you think they have the thing for Major League where they peel off a layer every time they win?
They should
get them going.
They completely should.
And the fact that you understand my reference, I love it. I absolutely love it.
It's a great movie. It's an American classic. That movie.
If you don't know what Major League is, crawl it from the rock. Go do some homework. A lot of one-liners. Bob Uecker was. Oh my God. He was. He's worth the watch just by himself, just for his parts.
This is be a whole podcast of his one-liners. Through the whole entire thing.
I want to do a play-by-play of a baseball game as Harry Doyle. I want to do that now that I have a little free time. I want to do that.
Just a bit outside.
Try the corner missed. Ball 4, ball 8, ball 12. Man, how are they laying off pitches so close?
Love it.
He's gonna need a visa to catch this one. That baby's out of here.
Gotta love it.
So you gotta love Georgia basketball, man. I'm so stoked that they're starting to turn the corner with Mike White. I think the fans have been great. I think they've been extremely patient with them, and continue to pack out the Steg. That's what it's going to take.
Absolutely. We got LSU coming in tomorrow. So
at
8:30, I might actually stay up and watch the second half of that game.
Yeah.
So
Got to do it, man.
I'll be coming in hot.
There you go. And then watch that game, and then got to get some momentum before Bama's going to be a tough test. They've been annihilating everybody. I mean, that's just, there's no shame in that game, dude. They've been annihilating everybody on basketball. I guess if they can't win in football, they got to win in basketball, right?
It's the first year, I think it's said in 20 years that they've been ranked number one. I think I saw that stat. I mean, there's no doubt that they are the real deal. You know, never would I thought that Alabama would be the premier basketball school in the SEC.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So, but that's going to do it for us, man. I'm so stoked. I'm so elated that Georgia collected a win in basketball. I think Kelee Ringo is going to go as a first rounder. I think he's going to thrive in the league, and maybe next year I can win some money on the Super Bowl. Have a little bit better luck. So,
hey man, we got to get the script. I don't know who we need to call, but we got to get the script.
Yeah, that's your homework, Israel. You got to find out how we get the script, and maybe you can get it before the season, and we can start betting all the games.
Oh yeah, you know it's bad. When I saw Boykin tweet last night, he was like, "Man, I never thought I'd see the day that even after playing the league that it's." Or he said something along those lines, and I was like, "Dude, I told you." I'm saying that
it's rigged, man. It's rigged. It's WWE. People love it.
Ever since the Tom Brady rule when he fumbled, the Tuck rule, I knew something was up.
I think that's when they switched. I think it didn't used to be rigged.
That and the fact that the whole catching the ball. What is a catch in the league?
It just depends on who's catching it and what the situation is.
That was another one.
I know Des Bryant would like an explanation. I know the Calvin Johnson rule.
I'm like, there's all these rules, man, that just need like a Rolodex to even keep it all together. All right, hang on. This rule is on page 62.
I think that book gets too thick. They don't know what targeting is. They don't know what roughing the passer is.
I've got to give, because if this is the case and kids are trying to go to the NFL, and that is pretty much the goal when you go to college, depending on who you are, then we should be teaching the way that the NFL teaches. Because if they go and you're going to get a penalty, and then you're going to get kicked off the team.
Yeah.
And you're going to wonder why, because this is what I was taught for forever. And you can't do that, sir.
Yeah. So are y'all going to start having a quarterback sack drill where you lay him down and put a pillow and a blanket on him?
Absolutely not.
That's the new rule, man. You gotta tackle the quarterback and then cuddle with him afterwards.
Look, we whiz by our quarterback every day. He see bullets all the time. So when the game happens on Friday, don't even phase him. The only difference now is that he knows he can actually get hit. But as far as where it's coming from, he knows it. They run right by him. Bullets just be flying.
It's like a action movie, and you hear the bullets.
As long as you don't touch him, you're good.
Yeah. Don't touch the quarter. Don't break the merchandise. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty boy. It's pencil neck. All right. Well, we're into overtime here, so we're gonna jump out. But we are the Bleav in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Bleav Network, presented by Betonline.ag. For Israel Troop, I'm Corey Britt. We'll see you back here next time on the show. And as always, good night and go Dogs.
Dogs.